Okay, that's interesting. Things like that. Oh my god, they always get me. Sorry. Oh my god, yes. So, hey everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I already see that the chat is going a little crazy. Okay, so I wanted to take the time today to talk to you about a few things, mainly announce a few things around the 1.3. Just answer the questions you might have and maybe watch a little evolution together. This is my first time, so please be indulgent and don't be too harsh on me. So yeah, let's start. One of the few things that was very apparent through all your comments is that the node system from the Bibits are very hard to understand. So you see here, that's not a network too bad, but it's very, very confusing when it gets very crowded there. Maybe we can find a Bibit that's a little more, yeah, like this one. Yeah. You can see that it gets pretty crowded. Like this one did die pretty fast also. But yeah, so it can get very, very confusing at times, and for no reason, like the path crosses and things like that. So I decided to work on another implementation. I'm trying to make a force-directed graphs to draw their brain. This is an early design, but I hope that you'll be able to understand what it is approximately. So the idea would be like that all the neurons can move in place, and just having like few forces exert between them, the graph would be able to arrange itself in a position that makes sense and is pretty optimal. Like that, we could easily see like the different layouts and things like that. The new version will be available someday. Like I said, I'm working on it, and now I've announced it a few places, but there's a whole team that's working with me. Since my last video, a lot of people have reached out. In fact, too many have reached out. I'm sorry if you sent a message and I couldn't answer you, but I was very much flooded with messages. And yeah, I started assembling a small team. So some people are helping me working on this. One very impressive thing, if I go back to the menu here, is the menu screen. An artist has started helping us, and the work he's been doing is very amazing. Here you have all the simulation parameters, like the area size, to make the simulation bigger, the biomass density to have more pellets, things like that. Here you have the starting genes, like we said. As we implement more, there's going to be more there. Eventually, the neural network editor will come into play, and I look forward to see that because it's a feature requested by a lot of people, and it's going to be very fun to play with. Yeah, here you'll be able to load and save the settings just like you used to in the 1.2 version, but we'll make sure to add saving and importing bibits and things like that, so don't worry about it. And here you'll see the credits with everyone that's involved. Braxiations, I'm sorry if I butcher your name, is the artist in charge of both the concept art for procedural sprites and the design of the UI art and styles. So that's all on him. He's very talented. It's impressive what he's done so far. Eric is helping me with pretty much standardizing the code and making it more clear to understand. So when people join and works with us, it's going to be far much easier. So that's a very big milestone. He's also been implementing a few things I'll show you when we start the simulation. Siga so far has been consulting us on a few strategic technologies. Yorunokage or Diona has been helping us with moving the simulation to a new framework, which is ECS. Some of you may know about it. It's another framework on Unity that present data-oriented programming and seems to be very good to work with a large amount of game objects and entities and things like that that move around. So it's going to be very impressive to see how far we can push this and how it can help the Bibit, like having massive simulation even on very poor device like cell phones or mobile. So it's going to be very fun. Daniela, that's the UI guy primarily, which has been developing this majestic interface. So yeah, I'll reduce the area size a little bit so it's not too crowded. Density like that, so my computer can run it while streaming, like 1500. That's gonna be great. So yeah, let's go. And first thing you'll notice is that there is now a certain distribution across the map. Pellets are not distributed in a purely grid space now. It's a little more realistic, and it's more of like island based. Like there are small patches and the pattern is randomly generated each time you run the simulation, and it across time it actually moves around. So you'll see patches moving and merging and separating, kind of like continents, but on a smaller scale. Bibits that were separated for a long time eventually collide together, and this so far this really helped with speciation and things like that. Having two different patches of land that are separated really helps that, and it's been very interesting so far to see how it evolved. Also, with Eric, we decided to implement more mutation at the start. So Bibits by default will start with a few connections and all that. We're still balancing it because a lot of people really like having the Bibits start off like very poorly and gradually expand and become more complicated and all that. But we'll see how it plays out. It's gonna be fun to play around with that. We might even like give that control to you, so you can decide if you want them to start full super intelligent or not. Yeah, the ability to change the background color is coming. Like if you've been on the Reddit, and if you're not, you should. But Brax have posted a few examples. In the end, we might just give you the choice of like a few presets, but ultimately, no matter what the color you want to be, then you'll be able to set that. Might even influence the simulation. It would be very interesting if they had the ability to see the background color, and if the background color was green, then all pellets would be invisible or something like that. Might be interesting for evolution. Yeah, 1.3, even with what I've shown, won't include procedural sprites, because that will make that would be very hard to implement. But with 1.3, I intend to very much focus on usability and leaving no one behind. A lot of people with laptops have told us that it's been really hard to control the simulation and all that just with a numpad and things like that. So we'll make sure it's usable. Things like a return to center button for people that drives off. Egg eating has been confirmed for 1.3. Yes, it is. Hoping for a Linux release. Yeah, I'm hoping for a Linux release. In fact, there's going to be a Linux release with 1.3. I promise you. Promise. It's going to be there. Can you save the simulation state? Not as of now, but you'll be able to for the release. That's like a priority. because everyone is asking for this, and I agree that it would be very cool to be able to share Bibit files and all that. Oh yeah, important thing, I forgot to mention, there's new neurons types that were added. In fact, one new, which is the differential. When something moves, like let's say the energy ratio, how much energy it has. Oh, no, I need to save this Bibit. Yeah, eat a little food. Then yeah, when it changes, that's the differential. Well, it's if you've done calculus and all that, you know what the differential is. But yeah, so it tells the function of how much the previous neuron varies. So it's slowly losing energy. So when it's gaining energy, it wants to produce blue pheromones also. Yeah, sorry. And just as the same, time alive makes it go forward. But when it sees, oh, okay, so when it sends blue pheromones, then it turns. But it produces blue pheromones when it sees food, right? So if we put it right now, they will produce like blue pheromones and want to turn. Oh, interesting. Okay. So it sends the pheromones, then it turns, then it sees food, then it turns. Okay, interesting. There is kind of memories already. One of the neuron types is a latch neuron, which is a neuron type that is kind of a set reset, and it acts as a memory because of its nonlinearity. We can pop up on Desmos. Oh yeah, Desmos. So when the input is equal to 0, just stays there. As it goes up, the output stays 0. As soon as the input reaches 1, then the output is going to be set to 1. And then no matter you change the value, it's going to stay to 1. As long as you stay above 0, then if you get at 0, you reach 0, then bam, it's going back. The output is reset. Let's say no matter the value there, it stays at 0, even between here. And when you reach 1, bam, it goes back. So it's kind of like a memory unit, because you can set a bit to like a memory bit or something like that. It would be interesting to see more complex and nonlinear and hysteresis and things like that. But I'd first like to see some interesting things evolve from this. Oh, file extension would be .bb8. Yeah, .bb8, that's great. bb8. Yeah, noted. Very great idea. I love the pun. What is the next update about? So the 1.3, like I said, is going to be fully about usability, features, functionalities, and ease of use. So okay, I'm gonna kill, they're interesting, but I'm gonna kill all of them to show you back to the menu. Like if you've played around, you'll see that this is very different. We've had like Brax, which is our artist, and Daniel, which is helping us work on those that new UI. It's very great. I'm very lucky to have people like that to help me, and it's far more like, just in general, better looking, not to say the least. And yeah, like that, I think it's far more better. And just add more functionalities to the screen in general, like having a home button and things like that. That would make that will make everyone have more interface with the simulation. Like a paint tool to drop pellets and create pheromones by yourself to test things like that, so that you can have more interactability. Yeah, that's 1.3. That's what 1.3 is about. You should add an option where it always follows a bibit when it dies a new one. Yeah, that's one of the things that's coming for 1.3. No yeeting, literally unplayable. Okay, guys, I'm taking a note. Yeeting. Yeeting officially announced. Yeeting is coming into the game, I swear. 1.3, check it.
A few moments later.
Yeah, you'll be able to yeet them, I swear. Yeeting update. Oh my god, I might actually name it that. Yeeting update. The yeeted update. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, you've earned it. Is there going to be a Steam page? Yeah, eventually. I don't know how early I can get away with creating a Steam page and maybe just letting people wishlist it or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna release it as a sorry when I'm gonna release it on Steam, but might come later. It will depend a lot of how much people ask me about it and how much people want it. So yeah, we'll see. How about making the bibits modular instead of just a single sprite that they could evolve their own looks and body structures? Oh my friend, that's what I call procedural sprites. And yeah, it's coming. That's gonna be 1.4 update actually. Where they're all going to have custom sprites according to their genes and all that, so they all look different depending on genetics. Yeah. What's your plan on 1.4? 1.4 is going to be procedural sprites. I think Brax have uploaded a few examples, so you can add there on the subreddit. Evolving plants, that's coming too, yeah. Eventually. I figured with biomes, evolving plants are gonna tie in so well. So yeah, evolving plants are primordial. I'm still thinking about how I'm going to implement it and how it's gonna play out, but I really look forward to have this and kind of play with it and have your feedback, because that's very important. Is there a temperature mechanic, and does these things use GPU calculations? Both, no. Temperature eventually, like I said, with the biomes and all that. GPU, no. Someone is going to be looking into it, like I said, Piotr. But aside from that, no, not at the moment. I wonder if there are implicit biomes. What I mean is whether Carnier and blah 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 gather within a certain place in the map by default. I wonder if it could help design the biomes as well. Well, I'd like the biomes to be not hard-coded, but a result of the dynamics implemented. Can you make two bibits have baby and baby be better than parents? That's not possible as of yet, but eventually sexual reproduction is coming back. For biomes, will they change over time? Yeah. Like I've said, I want them to not be hard-coded, like Minecraft, let's say, as, okay, this area that I generate is a desert. This area next to it is a jungle. I would far much prefer having, like, instead fields, vector fields that dictates both, let's say, like we have a heat map of all the terrain, then humidity map of all the terrain, and then biomes develop by themselves according to the particular environment and all that. And one thing I really want to add in is that the Bibbits will eventually be able to influence themselves these fields and things like that. So yeah, evolving biomes. The distribution is not generated by Perlin noise. It's purely random dot position, and they're placed randomly. And when one spot placed a pellet, it will drift a little bit toward. So it's even the spots are like kind of random walking all over and things like that, so that the land masses shift over time. You can see like this big land mass here has kind of bridge here with the bigger one here. So yeah, with the kind of desert between. You can imagine that like in a few months, years, like this is eventually going to be a real desert and things like that. Yeah, saving is coming. Yeah, agreed. It's very important, like having your simulation saved, but also being able to save individual Bibbits. I really would like something like a website where you can share, or a platform where you can share Bibbits and things like that. Especially when you'll be able to create your own Bibbits with their own brain and all that. It's going to be a very great. People are going to be super creative and create like super Bibbits that can annihilate anything or things like that. I look forward to see what you come up with, or even what I come up with when we can design our own Bibbits, like their brain and all that. I look forward to it. Do you have a space for the project online for code updates forum? Well, my presence online is on YouTube, obviously, but I post some updates on the Reddits and on my Twitter. That's pretty much it for now. But yeah, on itch.io also, I post well, dev vlogs and things like that, but so far very few. Yeah, I'd like the dynamics to so they spin around. The young spin around very fast, and eventually they stop spinning. Why? Okay, so okay, when it has energy, it spins, and it accelerates when the more matter it is, and when it sees food. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Things like that. Oh my god, they always get me. Sorry. Oh my god, yes. You should be able to genetically engineer your Bibbits and input your own values. I agree. Like I said, it's eventually coming in. The brain editor is going to be very great. Be sure, a lot of you have suggestions, so be sure to join the subreddit if you haven't already, because that's where I keep track of every suggestions and all that. And also there's memes there, which is very great, and a lot of people are sharing their art and things like that, so it's very interesting. Well, okay, that was very great. I think I'm gonna head out. I have friends coming over, so I need to cook food for myself. Thank you very much for watching, and for your generous support, and I'll see you next time. That wasn't stolen from anyone, but yeah, thank you very much, and heading off.